I'm Chris from Addy Family Adventures, and today's video we are going to rank the Star Wars movies. We're going to talk a little bit about the new movie that's coming out in December, Rise of Skywalker, and I'm going to give some of my theories and stuff as well. So let's get started. So number 10, the movie I rank at number 10 is going to be The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi to me missed a lot of stuff. It didn't answer hardly anything from The Force Awakens, which there was a lot of stuff to be answered. They missed a lot of stuff on, they could have showed how powerful Luke was. I don't think the training for Rey was what it should have been. And I really just feel like the whole entire movie to me, on the different parts of them being chased down through by the First Order, where Leia and them, it felt like a really bad episode of Battlestar Galactica. Now, this might rise up in my rankings, depending on maybe the next movie could show that there was reasons that things happened the way they did in this movie, but I really don't foresee that happening. The thing was these movies were actually meant to be a story told over 3 movies, and it's like we got to the second movie and they forgot that. It was like they were trying to tell a story in one movie, and that they had forgot that it was actually a story going through 3 movies. So, The Last Jedi is going to rank number 10. To me, it was just not a good movie. I'm not saying it's something I won't watch again. I'm just saying it's not my favorite. Number 9, Attack of the Clones. Now, Attack of the Clones to me, I like the movie. I just have a hard time ranking it higher because I really felt like the story wasn't done very well. I felt like the whole mystery of who was trying to assassinate Padme could have been held a little bit from us, because they kind of gave away who it was. I mean, we knew it looked like Boba Fett, but when we seen that it was, they mentioned Jango Fett, we knew right away that's who it was. So that mystery was gone. I really thought a lot of the battles with Obi-Wan was great and everything like that. And I just feel like the love story between Anakin and Padme could have been better than what it was. It didn't speak to me. But it still was a better movie than The Last Jedi. Which brings us to number 8. Number 8 to me is The Phantom Menace. Now, I actually like this movie. I know a lot of people don't like it. I can ignore the Jar Jar thing, but it has some sentimental value to me because this was the first Star Wars movie I actually took my daughter to see in the theaters. So, to me, the pod racing, everything, it was great. I love Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. I believe it has probably the best, to me, the best lightsaber battle at the end with the perfect score, the Duel of Fates, which is one of my favorite Star Wars songs. And I think that is what brought it up. It might be a little bit higher in my ranking if I thought more about it, but as of right now, it's going to be at 8. And when it comes to like that character Qui-Gon Jinn, I really wish they would tell more of his story, because I really like Qui-Gon Jinn. I really like the character. I like Liam Neeson. I really felt like they should have had more of a connection between Obi-Wan and Anakin in the movie, but that didn't exactly happen in that movie. But that's why Phantom Menace sits at number 8. All right, for my next movie is number 7. Or at number 7 is Solo. I liked Solo. I really did. I think it took a lot of backlash because of a boycott. And to me, understand it's not part of the whole series. That whole thing from Phantom Menace to the Last Jedi. It's actually told from a side, and I actually believe that it was supposed to be a trilogy. The solo movies were, and I really think they should think about making a sequel to it. I mean, telling the story of Han and Chewbacca. I actually read the books before, and yeah, it didn't come up to what the books did, but I really liked it. There was a lot of stuff I didn't agree with, like how Han got his last name. I didn't agree with that. I was fine. A lot of people said that, you know, Lando had a thing for his robot. The thing is something can feel special to you, and it doesn't have to be a romantic thing. And I think that's what it is, and I think a lot of people read the wrong thing into that. So, but to me, I think if they don't make a sequel, they're missing out on an opportunity. If they're not going to make a sequel, at least make a series on Disney Plus, because I think it would make a great series. And if you had, even if it was a series that you led up until where they were at the New Hope, I've heard people say, well, the thing was it wasn't set up for a sequel because they were talking about a job with Jabba. Well, understand, Han and Chewie did lots of jobs for Jabba. They didn't only do jobs for Jabba, they did jobs for multiple people in the galaxy. So there's lots of stories to tell before you even get to A New Hope. So I really think they're going to miss out on an opportunity if they do not do a sequel, or at least do a series on Disney Plus. All right, my next one is The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, which is number 6. The Force Awakens, to me, was a great movie. It was. Reintroducing Star Wars again after a short period of time of no Star Wars movies. It was great. This is my youngest daughter's favorite one, and it would have been like the first one that I actually took my youngest daughter to go see. And I think they started out telling the story of Rey, bringing back in the old characters was great, and the whole story just, it all went along. And I have my theory on Rey, and I'll tell you after we get through this, but I really think that it was a good story. J.J. Abrams did great setting it up and everything like that. It was just, when you got to Last Jedi, it failed at continuing on that story. So let's get on to number 5. Number 5 to me was Revenge of the Sith. Now, the reason why isn't higher, because I try to compare a lot of these to my top 2. And Revenge of the Sith, the reason why it's number 5 is this was a movie I've been wanting to watch as a kid for a long time. And what I mean by that was there was rumors when I was a kid that what happened to Anakin Skywalker that made him become Darth Vader was that Obi-Wan and him were in a lightsaber duel, and Obi-Wan had kicked him into a volcano. Now, at that time, I didn't imagine that it would be an entire planet that was volcanic. Not once. And to me, this just fulfilled the whole entire what I was hoping to see. Now, there's some like cheesy parts, where Vader yells, "No!" at the end when Palpatine tells him he killed Padme, and, there was a lot of different choices made in that I wish they would have changed. But other than that, I really liked Revenge of the Sith. It actually finished off that trilogy really well. And I think the story was told really well about Anakin's actually descent into the dark side, how it all happened. And, a lot of people are like, well, I don't like the fact that Padme died from a broken heart. I think, maybe, I don't think how that really works. It actually happens in real life, where one will pass away or something will happen and the other can't go along and they just give up on living. And that's what I believe happened here. And I believe, showing how everything plays off to head into A New Hope, it just, to me, was just, I thought was awesome. All right, so number 4. Now, to me, the only reason why this doesn't rank higher is because the original trilogy, is so dear to my heart, and I actually seen all of them originally in the film or in the theaters. But the next one is going to be Rogue One. To me, Rogue One is up there with the original 3. The story was great. I thought they came very close to doing Empire again. To me, that's what it was. It was a great story. The characters were great. I love seeing all the different new worlds and having not only that, but actually seeing Vader back on the screen. And the way they made him look at the end of that, they made him just look so powerful. I wish we would have actually got that kind of power in the original. But I mean, there's like new technology that they can do that they couldn't do back then. But Jyn Erso, her story was great. I loved her story. Her father obviously was the one who helped design the Death Star and actually put the actual the fault into the Death Star for the rebels to defeat it. K2SO, loved K2SO. Cassian, those were great. K2SO was probably one of my favorites in there when it comes to droids. K2SO actually ranks up there high as one of the droids from Star Wars I like. But Rogue One, to me, it was like Disney knocked it out of the park with this Star Wars movie. They did really well, and to me, it comes really close to the original trilogy movies. Which brings us to number 3. Number 3, Return of the Jedi. Of course, Return of the Jedi is going to be there. It's the whole thing it's the finishing up the original trilogy. Seeing Luke's journey come to that finish. Seeing Anakin as Darth Vader's journey come to a finish. Because like I said, Luke's journey was through 3 movies, but Anakin's journey was through 6. And they told those stories in a way that you could follow it through there. So, Return of the Jedi actually ends with father and son reuniting. Anakin being saved and brought back to the light side of the Force. The Emperor, at that time, we believe was gone. Now with the new movie coming out, we know that's not true. But this movie, to me, it was one of those movies you were waiting for because, of course, it was rounding out that trilogy. Number 2, for me, was A New Hope. A New Hope, obviously, the first Star Wars movie I ever seen. I seen it in theaters multiple times. If I'm right, I believe this movie has actually been compared to Gone with the Wind. It's just a timeless movie. It doesn't get old. It's good versus evil, and it's the starting of the hero's journey with Luke Skywalker, who goes on and starts to learn about the Force. Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan was great in that, and then of course you have Carrie Fisher, Han Solo, Peter Mayhew, Kenny Baker, Anthony Daniels, all of them starting out their career there with Star Wars. Well, not starting their career, but starting their career in Star Wars out in this movie. And I can't see it with any other cast. There's no way they could change that. A New Hope basically set the whole thing up, and it's the reason why I love Star Wars today. If it wouldn't have been for that movie, I probably would have never watched the Star Wars movie. What I'm stating is, if it wouldn't have been good, I probably wouldn't have watched a bunch. So for number one, and I believe this is number one for everybody, Empire Strikes Back. Empire is the best movie. It's the movie that you measure any Star Wars movie against. It's the benchmark. It has the best story. It's just how it went through and everything. And the funny thing was Lucas started making these movies because back in that time, a lot of movies weren't having happy endings. They were kind of depressing and everything like that. And what's funny is how he took A New Hope and made it with such a happy ending, and then you come to Empire. And Empire comes to the end, but with the iconic scene where you find out Vader is Anakin Skywalker and he's Luke's father. And I'm getting chills just thinking about it right now. It's such a great movie. If you love watching the Millennium Falcon in action, this movie, I believe, has more of that than any other movie. Them flying through the asteroid field to avoid the Empire. It's, to me, I can watch this movie over, and I can watch all of these almost over and over again. And I have. I've gone back and watched them. But I mean, the reason why I've been watching them a lot because of my trip down to Disney World to Black Spire at Batuu, and this was it. This was the best Star Wars movie ever, and I don't think anything will beat it. So let's get on. So, my theory on Rey. Alright. I like the theory that people have talked about Rey being the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a lot of similarities between those two characters. But I think Disney, even though they made books legend, I think they still pull from the books. I think they pull ideas from the books. And to me, I believe we're going to find out Rey is a Solo. I believe she is the lost twin sister of Ben Solo. And in the books, there was a lot of attempts, because in the books they had 3 children. They had twins, and then they had Anakin Solo, and it was Jason and Jaina. And when they were really young, there was a lot of attempts to kidnap them. Well, I think what has happened is that Rey was actually kidnapped at a very young age, and they never found her until now. And you can kind of tell that in Force Awakens with the way Han reacts to her, the way Leia reacts to her, and I think what it is they don't know how to tell her they know who she is, and I truly believe that is what it is, which leads to, now I'm gonna pull up a picture here. A lot of people for the Rise of Skywalker are confused by this, and I believe this picture right here for the Rise of Skywalker is the whole thing. If you've seen Empire and you've seen where Luke on Dagobah goes into the cave, I think this mirrors that. I think this is Rey seeing what her possible fate could be. And I think she ends up going into an area like that, and that's what this picture is, or this part in the trailer is showing. It's not Rey. It's Rey foreseeing what her fate could be if she was to fall to the dark side, just like Luke's, where he encountered Vader in the cave. He cut off Vader's head. It rolled over. The mask exploded, and Luke's face was inside the helmet. So, but this is my whole idea. This is my ranking. Understand, this is my opinion. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with it. You tell me what how you would you rank them, or what do you think was the best movie, or how, what do you think about, your theories on Rey? What do you think about what's going to happen with the Rise of Skywalker? I've heard lots of stuff, so I've seen different things, and I really think that it's going to be a good movie. I think J.J. Abrams is actually going to bring it up to where it needs to be after what happened with The Last Jedi. But as for that, don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like the video and hit the notification bell. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these movies. If you're a Star Wars fan, let me know. I want to hear. But as for that, catch you on the next adventure.